Welcome back to Newscentre. A day after the Cabinet cleared the 7,280 crore incentive scheme for rare earth magnet manufacturing, the centre is moving to fast-track the rollout. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that a notification is expected within 15 days and bids could be invited by 31st of January next year. Interested players will need to submit detailed project reports showing technical capability, indigenous expertise or global tech tie-ups. An interministerial group supported by IREL, Bhabha Atomic Research Centre and Council of Scientific and Industrial Research will be constituted to frame the eligibility norms and evaluation criteria. The government is likely to consider proposals from companies ready to invest 1,500 crore rupees for a 1,200-ton plant, while the smaller 600-ton projects may also be assessed. Around 25 companies participated in the consultation phase, including magnet makers, auto component firms as well. Currently, only a handful of companies, including Entellus, Ashwini Magnets, Midwest, make rare earth materials in India. The government wants to establish rare earth permanent magnet manufacturing facilities in India and build a domestic supply chain to reduce reliance on imports. According to official data, India's rare earth imports rose 23% from FY20 to 2,270 tons in FY24, with 65% of those imports coming from China. Joining us right now is the Managing Director of Sona, Comstar, Vivek Vikram Singh. Thank you very much for joining us, Vivek. Could you give us a sense if Sona Comstar has a plan to enter rare earth manufacturing, and would you be interested in applying for this scheme?
So this is a great policy. As you know, we are India's largest rare earth magnet consumer, importer. For us, secure supply chain is very important as we make more and more traction motors for the future as India electrifies. We will play a part in this policy in some form or the other, as a primary applicant or a secondary applicant jointly with somebody. But we are very interested, and I genuinely think this is one of the best policies to have come out in recent years, because the criticality of rare earth magnets is immense. I mean, it can be measured by the fact that China, by doing rare earth magnet export control, got US back to the negotiating table and almost made them submit to most of their terms. How powerful that leverage is, you should know that how important the commodity underlying that leverage would be.
Absolutely. Vivek, could you also give us a sense of what is the kind of capacity India needs in the next 5 to 7 years if we really want to be independent? And also, what is the kind of technology that we would need in the country? Do we have that kind of technology in the country at all?
Both great questions, Parikshit. So one, as of today, India imports about 3,600 tons of rare earth magnets. I think some of it was replaceable by either lighter rare earth magnets or ferrite magnets. And now the necessity has forced some people to switch. People have switched. But I would say, given the rate of electrification that we are seeing, in 5 to 7 years, India would need about 6,000 tons. And I think the government has been very far-sighted. They've taken inputs from the industry. We as a company, I personally have given my inputs to various ministries on this subject. I think that is why we are planning 6,000 tons. Second is technology. As you know, outside China, there are only 3 or 4 companies that have the technology. They are either in Japan or Germany. So it is very small pockets of excellence, and the technology required is actually quite complex. First process is the metallization, which is probably easier, but from the metal to magnet, that technology is where the tricky part is.
Right. So you're saying that there are only a few companies around the world who have this technology. So global tie-ups will be extremely crucial for the success of any such scheme. Are the incentives which have been pointed out, are they enough right now for a starting point?
So the OPEX incentives are more than enough. Frankly, they are exactly on the lines of what US has done. And again, I have to praise MHI, Mr. Rizvi, Dr. Qureshi, the Niti Aayog people, Ishtiaq sir, they've done a brilliant job. Actually, the price differential is about $30 per kg, and I think the subsidy covers it adequately. I could argue, as someone interested in the scheme, that the capex subsidy is a little lower than we would have liked. But then we are free to get incentives from states or other governments. And the second point you mentioned about international cooperation, look, it's in the best interest of a lot of countries to collaborate on this. So Japan has the technology. We have the rare earth oxide stock. We have the feedstock. They don't. Australia has the heavy feedstock, but they may lack the light or the technology to do it. And obviously there is US involved to direct us all in this initiative. So if you look at the Quad Rare Earth Initiative, all four countries have a part to play here so that we can build a supply chain that benefits all of the four, and we can have an independent parallel supply chain to the one that is currently dominated by China. And I think India plays a pivotal role here because we have the largest feedstock of neodymium oxide, and if we can step up our mining, we can increase it manyfold.
Right. Now, what would be your recommendation to the government from here on? We do not have refining capacity in the country right now. In terms of getting the equipment needed to manufacture these rare earth magnets in the country, also to get the raw materials in time at the best possible rate, would you also request the government to bring down the basic customs duty? What is the duty structure right now? And does that allow companies like yours to bring in equipment?
So, one, Parikshit, we have given all our recommendations to the government in multiple fora. And we have been not just listened to, almost all of the points that we have made, which were sensible, the government has already incorporated. Raw material is not an issue, as I keep saying. IREL Limited is producing about 1,300 to 1,500 tons per year of neodymium oxide. They can always produce more. We did not have any real use for it in the country, which is why they weren't stepping it up. It is the equipment, you're right. There is equipment available. It will be Japanese and German equipment. I think that's where our differences are, that the capex subsidy is lower than what we would have liked, because China has also restricted the export of magnet making equipment. Hence, the capex will go up. Right? But no other recommendations are remaining. I think government gets a lot of flack from industry for half-founded reasons or sometimes just selfish narrow interest. The government has to listen to multiple parties and figure out something that's fair for everyone. I think they have been exemplary in how they have gone through the consultations for this policy, how they listened to every quarter and figured it out.
Right. And finally, could you tell us how the restrictions of rare earth magnets imposed by China are impacting Sona, Comstar right now? We believe that there were some importers who got those licenses, but those shipments have not reached the shore, the Indian shore as yet.
Yeah, Parikshit, and if you actually talk to the four people who got the licenses for what quantities, it is the minutest fraction you can think of. I mean, out of the 3,600 ton that we used to import every year, I don't think it's even a percent, some basis point. So it hasn't really slowed. It remains the same. As we mentioned in our earnings call last quarter, we have switched to mostly light rare earth magnets. We are also attempting to do ferrite magnet-based motors, and we will keep trying to diversify away and move to technologies or solve through engineering what is primarily a supply chain problem.
Right. But you've managed to ensure that the production remains on track, or you feel that production is below targets?
No, I think production's actually not just on target. We have also gained market share because, not to boast, but if you have engineering capability and you can move faster than others, you can actually take their share as well.
Vivek Vikram Singh, thank you very much for joining us here on Newscentre. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the program. More updates on the other side.